Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Tuesday, February 18th. I'm Bishop Darrell Watkins, the senior minister here at Sunshine Cathedral. With me today is Sunshine Cathedral's executive minister. He's also my husband, Bishop Robert Griffin, Sunshine Cathedral's Minister of Connections, the Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Sunshine Cathedral's Minister of Education, the Reverend Kevin Tisdall. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about our progressive faith community and how you can be a part of it, no matter where you live in the world. And if you live in South Florida, be sure to check out the Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts, offering entertainment for the LGBTQ+ community to benefit the LGBTQ+ community. Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. In 2025, we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots Magazine, the 5th anniversary of Queer News Tonight, and we produced the 25th anniversary of Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. We're the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies. If you enjoy the Queer God Squad, please share this or other episodes with your friends, family, and social media communities.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral Perspective. How Christian is American Christianity? How Christian has it ever been? Frederick Douglass, an abolitionist who himself escaped enslavement, famously noted in 1845 that, quote, "Between the Christianity of this land and the Christianity of Christ, I recognize the widest possible difference, so wide that to receive the one as good, pure, and holy is of necessity to reject the other as bad, corrupt, and wicked. To be the friend of the one is of necessity to be the enemy of the other. I love the pure, peaceable, and impartial Christianity of Christ. I therefore hate the corrupt, slaveholding, woman-whipping, cradle-plundering, partial, and hypocritical Christianity of this land. Indeed, I can see no reason but the most deceitful one for calling the religion of this land Christianity. I look upon it as the climax of all misnomers, the boldest of all frauds, and the grossest of all libels." End quote. Of course, there was no Christianity of Christ, but Christians do claim to follow the Jewish Jesus, whose message Christians claim to be their own. Douglass went on to describe the horror of the antebellum South, which were perpetuated by Christians and often in the name of religious authority. The sad thing is his criticisms remain relevant today. The Queer God Squad wonders if Christianity is redeemable, or is the antagonistic, nationalist, bigoted American version, as Douglass charged, not really Christian at all? First, with that last part, I want to separate the two. Christianity, as we show at Sunshine Cathedral, can be a wonderful, positive experience. So the way we do it, I think, means that, yes, it's redeemable. The antagonistic, nationalistic, bigoted American version, as Douglass charged, yes, it exists. It exists, and it is being manifest in so many ways right now. Look at diversity, equity, and inclusion. Those are Christian values. Those are values that this administration has decided don't fit in with their view of America. MAGA, M-A-G-A. What I hear when I hear that, it says, let's get back to the 50s. Let's get back to the time when certain people knew their place. Mm-hmm. The Negro knew their place. Mm-hmm. The woman knew their place. Mm-hmm. If you were gay, lesbian, trans, you didn't talk about it to anybody except in those few clubs that you were allowed to go to, where you occasionally had the crap beat out of you by law enforcement. Slavery, civil rights, LGBTQ rights, women's rights, all of them are on the line right now because this administration has decided that we are not valued. We are not valued as people. In order for the administration to control us, They have to take charge of our thoughts, our lives, and our bodies. And I think that here at our church, that this is why I say that Christianity is redeemable. Here at our church, we don't put up with that kind of crap. We're not going to allow that kind of stuff to happen, not in our presence, and we're going to be loud about it, and we're going to point out that Jesus may have been the most radical person out there ever. Going into temples, overthrowing the money changers' tables, challenging authority. That's what Jesus was about, and that's what we at Sunshine Cathedral are about. So yes, Christianity is redeemable, but there's a lot of work that has to be done.
Yeah. Now, of course, a lot of our stories are parabolic and metaphorical and mythologized, or whatever. Very few of them can be taken as literal history. But that's almost like any great play, like Rent or whatever. On that, okay, maybe that didn't happen. Maybe these people didn't really exist. But there's this statement being made about AIDS or about friendship or whatever, about homelessness. So what these stories are telling us in the Bible are true. Some of them happened. They're all true, and some of them happened. And in those stories, we see Jesus leading an agitprop theater experience at the gate in Jerusalem. That's what the Palm Sunday situation is, where people are acting as if he is a conquering hero riding on a donkey. So it's a comedy, on top of it all. So he comes riding on his little donkey, and they're waving their palm branches, blessing him. Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord. And so he's coming through the gates, riding on this beast like he's a conquering hero, and they're calling him so and saying, "And save us." That's what Hosanna is, save us. And as if he had the ability to do so, as if he had armies and power and could just rescue them from Rome. And I don't know if that happened, but I know the story is true in that it shows do what you can. If all you can do is put on a play at the backside of the city and get some people motivated to resist, do what you can. And so that's the Jesus that we follow. That's the Christianity that we practice. The word Christian is only used exactly three times in the entire New Testament. It's not about being Christian. It's about following the way, Jesus the way story, following the way that Jesus modeled. Well, the mythologized or not, the Jesus we have to follow sets up agitprop street theater, confronts the commerce by telling the people who are exchanging your money, because you can't take monies with images on it into the temple, no graven images. So you have to trade your money for imageless coins that you can then spend at the temple to give us offerings or whatnot. And so, well, they're taking their cut. They're charging you, they're not just changing your coin so you can have one. No, it's a business, and they're charging you. And Jesus finds that, at least the Jesus imagined by the gospel writers, finds that reprehensible. These people have traveled God knows how many days to be here to worship. They're pilgrims, and they've already spent more money than they probably have to even get here. And now, so that they can worship with their giving, you're charging them for that. And it's not a fundraiser for the temple. It goes in your pocket. You're charging them, and then going to the bank. And he thought that sort of exploitation. He thought that sort of using religion as a way to profit, as a way to hurt other people. He thought that was outrageous, and he showed his ass. So he's calling names, he's knocking tables over, according to the story. And so over and over, he calls Herod a fox. He calls his good Judy Peter Satan. He can be very confrontive. Always in love, always not necessarily violent. When Peter attacks a guard, he says, "Put away your sword." So not always violent, but also very present, very bold, always on the side of justice. He'd seen a lot of things that he didn't even speak up in his own defense at his own trial. But when he saw pilgrims exploited, he couldn't stand it. He could not stand it. So if your Christianity doesn't make you furious at injustice, if your Christianity doesn't make you care about people who are being exploited or denied or overlooked or oppressed, if your Christianity doesn't give you compassion, if your Christianity isn't justice oriented, if your Christianity actually balks at the concept of mercy, you got whatever you got going on and you're entitled to it. But how dare you try to attach that to this prophet of justice love, this kingdom of God prophet that was imagining a better world, a world of kindness, a world of compassion, a world of justice, a world of equity, a world that is diverse, a world that is inclusive, a DEI world, but he called it the kingdom of God.
Yes.
And so if you are not trying to help build that sort of utopian woke kingdom, then you're really not doing much about Jesus. You're doing you do, and good on you or whatever, but it's not Jesus, and it's not the way of Jesus. And so I wish you'd get out of our way, because we're trying to do his thing.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm sitting here thinking, and it just kind of hits me that the other in this country has always had to fight the white man.
Well, I wish you'd just say it.
What do you really mean?
I mean,
For real though.
for real, I
right?
mean,
Yeah,
it's
for
like,
real.
let's take this
kidding,
back.
yes.
If we go back historically, as
Yes.
the other,
Yes.
and you can identify the other however you want to. Native, Spanish, or African Americans, or slave, or women, or divorce, or people who've had babies and miscarriages, and LGBT community, people who are medical issues. The other category has always had to fight the establishment.
The man who's white.
The man.
The man.
The man,
who's white.
and it just fascinates me about we're still having to do that in 2025.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's tiring.
Yeah, it is.
It's tiring. And, I did this post recently about, you may tire from the fight of justice, but never tire from the fight for justice. And I think that's what I have to constantly remind myself of today, that although I fit lots of other categories, I cannot tire from the fight for justice for myself or for other people. And I think that's what gets me about this kind of a story.
Yeah.
It's the tiredness that goes behind it. It's the fight we have to do. And we're always having to fight for ourselves. And even sometimes we have to encapsulate others in that fight who cannot fight for themselves.
Right.
And so it just reminds me that we can't give up.
Yeah.
We got to keep moving forward. Made the difference how difficult it might be to push forward. We have to keep doing it. And when I think about how Christian America, good Lord, look what we got built on.
Yeah.
The principles and the people that brought those principles here. What is we offered them food, and they were showing us the Bible, and next thing you know, it was all flipped around, and we had the Bible and they had the food.
Yeah.
And so what are we going to leave? That's my, the legacy that we're going to leave. What side of this legacy are we going to fall on? A good friend of mine recently said, from a former Carter administration, he said, this is not the time to be straddling the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not the time to be straddling the fence when it comes to American Christianity, when it comes standing up against what nationalism looks like. This is a time that you have to decide what you stand for, not who, but what you stand for,
Right.
and pick a side and stick with it. We cannot, the day of waiting is over. The day of judgment is here.
Yeah.
We have to judge for ourselves what side of this we're going to follow. And American Christianity, the way it has been, the way it may look now, is not the thing that we may think it is.
Right.
Choose this day whom you will serve.
Right. It's been a while since I've actually identified as Christian.
Yeah.
I identify as a follower of Jesus, a follower of Jesus. The word Christian has been co-opted by the religious right, and I don't want any part of that.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of that. I will follow Jesus. I will follow the one who preached the Sermon on the Mount. I will follow the one who reached out to women who had been ostracized, to others who had been ill, to a man who needed his lover. Healed. Exactly. That's what I want to follow.
Yeah.
I don't want Christianity, American Christianity as it presents now. No.
It's just imperialism that
Exactly.
Jesus resisted and was killed by.
Yep. No, thank you.
Pass.
Big pass.
Well, that's it today for the Queer God Squad.
Okay.
Decompress.
I'm telling you. Before we go, we want to invite you to join Sunshine Cathedral on a wonderful travel experience and help our mission for our community. Join us on the Florida AIDS Walk Pride Cruise. This unique 3-day cruise will sail from Miami on the $1 billion and ultra-deluxe 170,000-ton MSC Scape on November 2nd, 2025. The cruise is for the Florida AIDS Walk. Your participation helps 13 vital beneficiaries in our community. The cruise is an incredible value starting at just $199 and is also a fundraiser for the Sunshine Cathedral. Parties, special events, and more aboard, including a special unlimited beverage and open bar with Wi-Fi for all 3 days for just $68. We invite you to join us on this amazing cruise for fun, this vital cruise for good.
We want to thank you for joining us. We're here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and discuss what our LGBT community is talking about. Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together.
We all are in this together. Remember that.
You are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, we are the Queer God Squad.